Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this week's Astro Oracle reading where I blend astrology and oracle cards for a very intimate peek at the week ahead. But before we talk about your reading, oh my gosh, I'm counting the days. 3 weeks from now, we are going to be having the time of our lives. I hope you join us for the most incredible interactive online spiritual extravaganza. It's called Oracle Palooza, and there's going to be a link somewhere with a little mini video you can watch. So excited to see you there. Last year we had over 3,300 people with people from 53 countries. It was amazing, and this year it's going to be even better. We have swag boxes and all kinds of goodies, and of course readings and oracle cards and transformation. I'm telling you, if you are ready, if your soul is ready for a spiritual recharge, that's the weekend to come. So it's July, is that right, Mark? July 31st, August 1st, or July 30th, 31st, and 1st. Is that right? Okay. You know it'll be there because you can read it. Okay. All right, let's get going with the reading. You can tell I'm excited. It's like my most favorite thing to do. We plan months and months and months for it, so you will really, really be impressed, I will tell you. Okay, so we're gonna start with Aries, and if you're new to this and you've never seen me do it, you're gonna end up with 9 cards. So basically you first read the 3 cards, the story about your sun sign, then we look at your ascendant, then your moon. So it's 3 cards, 3 cards, 3 cards. And what it will do is give you a heads up about what you are personally going to experience this week, and give you a little bit more understanding of, you know, how you can make the best of things in the week ahead, what you need to avoid, and of course, how you can most benefit yourself and others. So here we go. Let's look at Aries. Very nice card already, Aries. Mark has always got this all set up for me to look. That's why I look over there, because he's got a screen so I don't mess it up. Okay, so Aries, you may not be listening to your intuition. You may be coming from a bossy place. So the flying card represents the need for you to be more in your observer self, looking at the big picture. If you don't, what'll happen is that you'll be really fixated on an outcome because you think it worked for somebody else, it might work for you. And that's really important that you don't buy into that this week, Aries. You've made some pivots in the month of June. Now you're looking at how do I make this work? But you have to really trust your intuition and not a template that everybody has because it's worked for so-and-so, is it gonna work for me? Same thing in your, you know, when you're looking at details of things, right? So you've got to listen, really listen to others. It's not as important for you to be heard right now. It's more important for you to listen to other people. So remember, Aries, your intuition may be a little off because you're not listening to it. And it's really key for you to really trust that. See things from the big picture. Don't get caught up in the minutia. And again, avoid templates. This is how we do it is not the way to go. This is much more. You have to reboot your interior pioneer about doing things a little differently. You've got to trust that, okay? All right, now but also listen to what others need. It's not important that you get heard. It's more important that you listen to what other people need, and then you'll intuitively know what to do next. Okay, now let's look at Taurus. I always get a kick out of these readings because, of course, you know, I'm a Cancer, my husband's an Aries, but we know right away what our reading means, and we track it during the week. And I know I love hearing from you guys when you've done it a week later, when you've gone, oh my God, this is what happened the week before. I thought it was this, but then it was that. And it really made sense. So you really see evidence that these readings are very accurate. So let's look at Taurus now. Taurus, balancing act. This is a nice one because it's, oh, very nice. Okay. So with Taurus, balancing act, come together, ride the wave. So we're really looking at how you can bring playfulness, and this is a great, this is actually one of your best weeks so far this year, Taurus, because it allows you to play, come together with others, and find a balance, because you might have not been around enough people, and likely, well, certainly if you live near us, we've been in a lockdown forever. But it really does say that there's a return to a more social environment for you, and you can really have some fun. It is a week for you to kind of let your cares go to the wayside and not worry so much about all the list of things that you have to do, or, you know, I have to accomplish X, Y, or Z. This is a week for you to actually get some balance around your social life. Very nice for Taurus this week. And it feels good too. It's like getting that hug when you haven't had one for so long. That's for Taurus. Okay, now let's take a look at Gemini. We've just come out of that Mercury retrograde in Gemini. That was a doozy. Now we're in the time of Cancer. So let's see what's going on for Geminis. Great, Geminis. You are getting into commitment mode. Ooh. Okay, this is really good. So for Geminis, if you have been clinging on to anything from your past, hoping that it was going to work out eventually. I don't know if you guys have ever had a pair of pants. I have a shaming closet. I no longer have the shaming pants and things like that, but of course I would keep my favorite pants from like 25 years ago when I think one day I'll get back into them again. Not. So this is kind of like that. We want you to get rid of all your shaming clothes, but it could be anything. Projects that you didn't finish because you knew you wasn't for you anymore. Yeah, clothes, objects, things that you were holding on to for that rainy day, or holding on to just because you had hopes for it, but you've been needing to pivot also. And this is saying, you know, it's really time to do a serious clean house, and also recognize that when you are stuck, it's because you aren't letting go. Like you are still working off the template of the past, you know, really holding on to a storyline, or even, again, like the way something is supposed to play out for you. There's a rigidity here that will melt away once you let go your resistance to change and make the commitment to it, like really commit to it, which means you're committing to more uncertainty. I think we get stuck in the mud when we're trying to cling on to something familiar. And in fact, that doesn't work. It's specifically not for the Gemini personality this week, okay? And that's for Geminis who are the sun sign Gemini, who are the ascendant, and who have the moon in Gemini as well. Let's see. What's next? I know people always ask about my shuffling, and it's actually the first question most people ask us, like, how do I shuffle? Now, I happen to love the poker shuffle. These cards are the Enchanted Map Oracle card. You know, you've noticed we've been using them the most the past couple of months. And they are a glossy, so they slide really well, and they tend to feel stronger because there's a gloss finish on it. They bend well, and they're easy to shuffle. Okay, now, Cancers. Cancers, not everything is yours to pursue. Okay, so this is a really interesting reading for Cancers. You may have not been taking your own advice about needing to stay quiet. So there's been a need for the Cancer personality to really get super nurtured, self-care, slowing things down, and this indicates that you may not have been doing that, and even though you knew you were supposed to. So this is about narrowing your focus. So this is a really good thing. When the wide open card is in the protection position, it asks you to pare down and simplify, not add more things. Really pare down and simplify. That will help you move out of whatever rut that you notice that you might have been in. But what I love about rock bottom as a card is that it indicates that nadir point, which is the lowest point. Doesn't mean it has to feel bad, but a point of no return where you're going, I absolutely need to make a choice to go somewhere new. So you may have been spending some time contemplating how to simplify things, or how to realize that not all burdens are yours to carry, especially other people's. Now, when slow and steady is in the protection position, it does say again that you really need to slow down, that it's a time that you want to make sure that you're not in inertia. But again, it's these timeouts off of social media, in this case, timeouts of too much attention and too much energy coming at you. So you're going to want to be careful with that this week, Cancer. So I'll be under a blanket for this week. Now we're going to look at Leo. Let's see what's going on for Leo. Leo also has slow and steady, only in the upright position. Oh my God, that's too crazy. Wide open is in the upright position. That's 2 cards that we just saw for Cancer and you saw me shuffle. And then sad embrace in the protection position. So for Leos, there's a beautiful nuance that comes with, so I don't know if you understand this, but the concept of melancholy, when you hear music that is moving, it's the idea of being moved by addressing loss. The sense of I am being moved because I realize that I can no longer be what I was. Those are the kind of feelings that the sad embrace card shows up for us in the protection position. So Leo personality, this is a beautiful place to come to. It's a sensitive, vulnerable place, and really a place for you to be open to whatever spirit has in store for you, and also being wide open to help others as well. So this is about open arms and feeling that sense of I'm not alone. I don't have to rush this. I can be very creative, because these 2 cards together also they represent that slow quality of when creativity comes through you and it doesn't quite make itself known, but you know it's in there and it wants to come out. But the only way that it can is if you address some of the things that you've been avoiding. In this case, for certain Leo personalities, it could be that you've been avoiding grief because you've been trying to look after everybody else instead of yourself. So this is also a beautiful week for you to contemplate what you've lost, what others have lost, that beautiful nuanced feeling of melancholy that can come along with art, right? So when you listen to sad music, I'll listen to the soundtrack, for example, of that older movie, Gladiator. Like it just, oh, my heart just goes, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I can get in touch with some of the feelings that I couldn't, because some of us have been in fight, flight, freeze, and haven't been able to access the emotional body because, you know, we've been re-traumatized, or all kinds of stories could have come up for many people. And the Leo personality doesn't do well, you know, under those circumstances. So here it's really quite a beautiful week for you to get in touch with those feelings, and also know that as a result of that, your heart gets broken wide open and new opportunities are available to you this week that will come with a contemplative viewpoint. Now let's take a look at Virgo. Virgo, okay, so Virgo, peaks of joy. You're also having a great time. So far, Taurus and Virgo, yay. Yes, you are finally figuring out how to get around an obstacle. Boy, oh boy, this is the Virgo week, like yippee, oh boy, I figured it out. That's kind of your theme for this week, Virgo. There's a tremendous release and liberation for you this week mentally. And emotionally, and it does show you here that you've figured out how to rescue yourself from the big obstacle that's likely internal, but it could have manifested for you as an external obstacle that you have to overcome somehow. Typically, I would say, looking at these 2 cards together, is expecting to get information from others when, in fact, when you're intuitively inclined, or you're able to just tune into spirit and go, okay, so show me what I need to do next. All of a sudden, bam, this problem that you've been wrestling with starts to unravel itself right in front of your eyes, and it's as if the you can participate in your own rescue, be actually part of it, and then realize that all your obstacles melt away as a result of that. And it does come also with the joy of being prior to that, because the first card was peaks of joy. So we're not waiting. We're not saying, I'm going to get this done, then I'll be happy. It's more like, I'm just going to enjoy my week. So Virgos also have, it seems like the earth signs so far have been having the best time. But anyhow, so Virgos, really interesting week ahead. Stay in gratitude, stay in joy. And remember that any obstacle that you have in front of you, it's going to get resolved this week. And it won't be because you've rammed at it. It won't be because you've been stubborn about it. It won't be because you've criticized it and shredded it. It's more because you've just become happy and grateful for whatever anyway, and it solves itself. Okay, so it'll show you your next right action. I would like to be, oh, that's you, Mark. Let's figure out what you've been struggling with. I don't know. Let's do Libra next. Here we go. Also, some sadness there. Field of Dreams, and Deep Freeze. Okay, so you have 3 cards in the protection position. And so this is about if you have had anything to grieve, if you have now finally given up needing to find middle ground with others, or finding that, you know, you're trying to find balance, instead realizing I just can't. And you can't find sense of things, maybe this is going to speak to those of you who have had a more difficult time of the Libra personalities, but it's also recognizing when things have to, those dreams of the past have had to be recalibrated, and they have new life as a result of letting go the old form. And it's a time for you to contemplate what was for the longer time before. So what was this thing I said I needed or wanted, and why has it changed? And how now can I see this manifest in a way that's really for the highest good of all, not just the highest good of me? It also is inviting you to, again, allow that melancholy that we saw with the Leo personality, that sense of feeling really inspired by sadness in a weird kind of way. I don't know how else to describe this to you. I'm not suggesting that you're going to have a sad week, but there is, you know, when you've worked so hard to stay balanced, and you actually haven't allowed yourself, like, my friend has a book called Cinema Therapy. It's fantastic, by Nancy Pesky. And it is all about like watching a movie to make yourself cry. If you can't seem to access your feelings, that'd be a good choice for the Libra personality this week. Go thaw yourself out by watching a show, a movie that you know for real is gonna make you cry, so that it can help, I don't know, it's like, loosen up some of that earth that has held you a little too rigidly, and the dreams that you have that you set in motion that you may not be willing to see changed, and now you really have to, okay? But this is a thawing week, remember that, right? So the thaw comes for you. So if there's been anything that's been on the frozen section of your mind, or even your dreams, you might have put it on ice, now it's the time that you're taking it off of the ice and getting it moving again. So that's really great for the Libra personality. Now we're going to look at Sagittarius. Oh my gosh, I forgot Scorpio. So here we go, Scorpio. Scorpio, this is the energy you're going to be processing this week personally, and that's for you people who have Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio Moon. So the first card reminds you, protecting treasure is in the protection position, means it's upside down, reminds you that boundaries are going to be very important for you, especially if you feel a little vulnerable. So it also reminds you that secrets are actually a good thing to have this week, that when you are ready to share your experience, strength, and hope with the world, you will. When you're in process, when you're in a creative process of just kind of birthing something, a new idea or whatever, you're not going to share that too soon. That's going to be really important to keep note of this week. Now, you are stepping into the unknown. So this is a beautiful reminder that you're up-leveling and that you're in this new developing phase of your life where you are stepping into unknown territory because you haven't experienced it yet. So this could be coming from epiphanies and all kinds of really amazing things, or it could also be coming from you having to let go of certain things, and all of a sudden you have some empty space in your life that in fact is good for you, but you've never had it. Right? Now, the good news is all of this takes you into movement. So the last card is movement. And that means that no matter what is going on this week, it's taking you to the next level, the next place, the next big experience for you that you get to integrate in your life. And so you are leaving things behind and moving to a new proverbial home. Okay, Scorpio, back to the reading. So the theme for Sag is listening. Okay, Sag, listening. Not going too fast. Wow, more sadness. I wonder what the heck's going on for everybody. You saw me shuffle that right? I mean, I did shuffle that. So interesting. So Sagittarius, you tend to be the happier, you know, like out there doing it, telling the truth, philosophizing, etc. And you're really listening to how the world is changing. And this is something that's less about the individual and more about the collective for you. So you are moving beyond grief. in a way. I'm going to take a look at the guidebook here too, because I think I'm getting a sense that I might want to read something from this, because both these two cards have come up a lot. So it says, you are not a human doing, you are a human being. So you need to just be. So this is also the card that says, ha 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 ha. You need a really big slow down. Listen to your body, slow it right down. You need to consciously co-create your world, and fruits will ripen in their own time. Don't push things forward impulsively is a reminder here. And then here, the Sad Embrace card, I'm going to look it up too and just see what a few sentences, if there's anything that sticks out. You have to be very careful about suffering, about trying to prevent suffering. This is about recognizing that sitting with your sadness and having faith around that is going to be really healthy for you. So not everything is yours to fix. And this is also that idea that you could also be suffering over your suffering. That's the other thing. So don't feel sorry for yourself. This is also a reminder, Sad Embrace in the protection position for the Sag, is you have to let things go. You can't, it's the turn the other cheek card as well. So recognizing that there's a beauty and a melancholy of life, etc. There's that pathos of life, but also not to take it to extremes. That sometimes you just need to feel your feelings and realize that you may be trying to push too much forward when you're fried. You're still super fried. So listen to I am fried and take some time out for that's the Sagittarius. Wow, Mark, looks like we're having another time out. Capricorn, strength. Yeah, boy, the Earth cards are having a great, the Earth signs are really having a good, well, yeah, maybe not so much. Yeah. Still a little challenging for everybody, I'm noticing here. So this is a week where, for the Capricorn personality, you can handle anything. Okay, that's a good thing. You want to watch rigidity, though, because you're still in a dry spell. So you kind of come in and out of it. You feel prolific one day, and then, oh my God, it's a mirage. And you're worried about what's coming to you at this stage, too. Like, what is coming to me? Why is this? You know, the unexpected visitors in protection is like, you know, oh, wow, this is something that's come from left field, although it won't topple you in any way, nor is it necessarily negative. It's just more of the prolonged obstacle of not being where you want to be and not recognizing that you're really building resilience, which is a good thing. So I would say an attitude adjustment would be really, really useful for the Capricorns this week. Also to note that when the dry desert is in protection, it reminds you that you have developed these skills sort of the way creatures that operate in the desert do. They have built-in mechanisms so that they can survive. Look at the cactus, for example. The cactus has really deep roots and holds water. You know, the liquid is held inside it. It doesn't look like there's any water anywhere. So it's the idea of self-reliance right now is going to be important to you. Just don't let that be rigid self-reliance, but so where you won't let anybody in, right? That's important, Capricorn, to keep the doors open for the visitors. Okay, Aquarius. Also unexpected visitors, and this is actually, ooh, okay, so unexpected visitors that could turn your life upside down. Now that doesn't mean it's negative. Remember, you could win the lottery and all of a sudden your life gets turned upside down, or something happens to you that you've wanted for so long and all of a sudden it's there and like, wow, oh my God, now what? There's like a bit of a divine chaos that occurs as a result of this and throws you out of balance. It could also be a return of a friend you haven't spoken to in a long time, or reconciliation between you and someone you haven't spoken to or seen. So for the Aquarius personality is not to read too much into things and to get back your equilibrium. That's going to be really important to you because you can't ride out the storm if you are unbalanced. So this is really important to ask yourself, am I ready for this? Do I have the wherewithal to step into this conversation, this relationship, this dynamic? If not, what do I do? Well, let's take shelter. So you have to remember that you do have choices this week, Aquarius, okay? And how you respond to life is going to you're going to decide whether you want to be the eye in the storm or the chaos of the storm. Now let's look at Pisces. Pisces. You cannot do it all by yourself. You're also, yes. Okay, so you don't really trust things right now. So Pisces, we have you as the one ring circus in the protection position, meaning that you cannot do it by yourself. This is not the week for you to be so self-reliant that you're totally fine, I don't need anybody, blah, blah, blah. You absolutely do, and that's really important. I love the bone collector because it reminds you of some of the patterns from the past that don't work for you. So if you are trying to do things by yourself, you lose, right? This is about material loss, evidence that you haven't gotten what you needed. So if you use the prompts of this card, which is to reach out to others, like not to be self-reliant, not to be so, I don't trust anybody, I'm going to do it myself, or the only person that can do it myself is me. Like that kind of thinking needs to go. Once you can write that, then all of a sudden you have like real access to some of the greatest qualities that you have that you've also admired in other people that will become accessible to you. And then this card then reminds you that the form is not yours to decide upon, that spirit decides the form, but the essence of your desires and dreams, that's what you have to focus on this week. And it does show that you will see evidence, but not as quickly as you want. Okay. Okay, so I hope to see you at Oracle Palooza Virtual. Oh my God, it's coming up on the end of this month. The tickets are on sale now. Go check out the video. There's a link somewhere. You are going to be amazed at how awesome this is. Okay, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye. Okay, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to click on the bell because then that'll give you a notification when these videos are up and running. Leave me a comment. I'd love to read the comment. And oh boy, click on that link that'll tell you all about Oracle Palooza Virtual. It is such a rocking, fabulous event. I hope to see you there. Tickets are on sale. Take care. See you next week.